Today I have got so much to tell you about, and it's great to be here with you. So we're going to be talking about another amazing cruise option for July 2026 as we celebrate the 250th birthday of the United States of America. We'll also be going over what's going on in Greece. Really big news there with Santorini. We're going to be going over a ship that has broke its mooring lines, a Magic Castle cruise, so much more. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Wednesday. It is March 26th of 2025. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, will you please go ahead and click on that subscribe button? You're not going to want to miss any of our updates and would love to have you with us. Also, if you appreciate my updates, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so very much. I want to start with a very quick update and reminder to everyone. Just over a week ago, I did a video letting you all know that the ETIAS, that travel authorization that the European Union is going to be requiring at some point, is not going to be required, as it says on their official website, until late in 2026. So if you happen to be traveling to anywhere in the EU this year, or truly probably at least before the last quarter of 2026, which starts, October 1st of 2026, you don't need to worry about that ETIAS, that travel authorization. I'll be keeping an eye on it and keep you all up to date with it, but they just have to keep moving it out. So we'll just see when they actually implement that travel requirement. You still have to worry about the ETA to go visit the United Kingdom, and I have videos about that, so don't miss doing that. And it's really exciting to me that so many places want us to come and visit. Some are implementing new measures to go visit them. But it's really exciting to me that we still get to go, that they're not closing their doors. That's kind of how I've decided to look at all of this. And so great news that we don't need to worry about that ETIAS until the end of 2026. Now, those of you who have been following along here, we have our group cruise that's going to sail on Holland America July 4th, 2026. Such a very, very special time and a very special cruise to celebrate the 250th birthday of the United States of America. So as I have been looking, I have really gone through a lot of different cruise lines to see if anyone is offering that same kind of cruise. And Holland America is really far and away doing the very best with that. So just throwing that out there. It does sail from Boston at 11 p.m. on July 4th. We go to Philadelphia and overnight in New York City. When do you get an overnight like that? It's absolutely wonderful. Well, today we have, and then it'll go up to St. John for the Bay of Fundy, an excellent port to visit there in Canada. So what's going to happen on July 3rd and 4th? The Queen Mary 2, the only ocean liner, official ocean liner that there is in existence right now, that's in operation, will be there in the harbor in New York. What they are going to be doing for the special 4th of July celebration is they are going to do a 6-day centerpiece of America's milestone anniversary will feature the largest international flotilla of tall ships and naval vessels ever assembled. And the Queen Mary 2 is going to be there as part of that. And so it says some 17 nations have already committed their tall ships to participate, and the U.S. Navy has invited scores of others. So more than 30 tall ships are expected. So if you don't know what a tall ship is, go ahead and Google it. Look for videos on it. They are absolutely beautiful, stunning, really special to be assembling these tall ships. And so if you are on that sailing of the Queen Mary 2, you're going to be able to be there on the ship. Of course, you can go ashore, but you're going to be able to see the tall ships there and have that wonderful vista of being able to look around and see all those tall ships. How many people are they expecting to come and see this? They are estimating at least 10 million people will be coming to view that flotilla. So if you really want to see that, you should be on the Queen Mary 2. And if you want help booking that, send me an email and I'm delighted to help you. But this is a really big deal. And I think it's really important to highlight that it's a very different experience from what the Holland America one is. Not only is the sailing experience different on Cunard than it is on Holland America, But that whole celebration thing that they are doing with the ship at that time is really different. So it's really important to choose what you're going to enjoy the most, both with what you're going to be seeing from the ship and the cruise experience that you're looking for. Very, very important to making sure that you have a wonderful time. Next up, this is a big deal. This doesn't happen very often. So Holland America's Rotterdam had a really, I think probably very stressful situation for the captain and the bridge team there. They were trying to dock in Port Limon, Costa Rica on Monday, and there was so much wind and it was kicking up swells that were bigger than, is normal there. And as they were trying to pull in and moor there to let the guests get off, the gusts of winds were so strong that they snapped the mooring lines. As a result of that, the Rotterdam ended up spending a day at sea rather than being able to make their port call there in Port Limon, Costa Rica. There was another ship that was there in port. It was the Mein Schiff 1, one of the TUI cruise lines. And they were actually in a more protected port area there, so they were able to have their port call there in Port Limon that day. But like I said, the Holland America Rotterdam was not able to make that port call. So make sure that when you book an excursion with a private company, that you know how to cancel on a moment's notice and that you know what those cancellation rules are when you book that. Sometimes insurance will cover and sometimes they don't, has been my experience from what people have told me. So just make sure that you know what to expect if your cruise ship is not able to call in a port at the last minute. So now I have got really exciting news for you. If you have been following along here long, you know that I love the Mediterranean. Greece is one of my favorite places on earth. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I let you know that several cruise lines, the ones that had port calls scheduled to call in Santorini, were not going to be making those port calls for February and March this year. They were hoping to be able to start calling there at the beginning of April, but because of the situation with the earthquakes, they were not going to be able to make those port calls. But you know what? It looks like things are going better than expected. This last Sunday, Celestial Cruise Line, their ship called the Celestial Discovery, was able to go ahead and anchor in the just off the coast there of Santorini. The guests were able to go ashore and have the wonderful day that they were anticipating and having in Santorini. So this is huge news. This is tremendous news because so many ships call in Santorini every year. And ever since they started having those earthquakes around the end of January, everyone has been really worried. And it's not just the cruise passengers that have been really worried about this. The people who live there have been really worried about this because as I was reading the news article and I followed up and watched a bunch of interviews that they had with different shopkeepers and different people there, they have been really, really worried about cruise ships not being able to come because that is their livelihood. That's where they get their lifeblood, the money to feed their families, to have housing. All of the things are tied to tourists coming to Santorini. So I thought I would let you know I'm so excited. I know the Sun Princess, she set sail on her transatlantic on March 22nd. So as the ships, we have more and more of them doing their transatlantics to go to Europe for the summer, we will really be keeping an eye on who is able to go ahead and go to Santorini. So if you're scheduled on one of those cruises, let us know as you receive any updates about that. But I am very, very encouraged by this news, and I am sure that the people that live there in Santorini are as well. Alrighty, so back November 21st of 2024, Princess Cruises announced that they were going to do a Magic Castle cruise. They're doing it on the Star Princess, and at that time I did a video about it, and I took group space. I'm not able to go on that cruise, but when I take group space, it makes it so that you get a better price. We can book it at whichever price is better, the group rate or Princess's prevailing rate, and you get extra onboard credit. So at that time I did it, and then we all moved on, and I have seen some people asking lately about whether or not people knew about that Magic Castle cruise. They call it a Conjurer's Cruise. It's a really big deal that Princess does this. So I thought it was worth visiting again so that you all are aware of it. If you happen to miss that video, I know I share so much information here, and if you miss a day, you miss a lot. So do your best to keep up. Turn on the video while you're making dinner, while you're driving in the car. Just set it on the seat of the car and listen. But it's really important that you know what's going on with this because As I told you when the Sun Princess came out, the whole Magic Castle theme that is available on the Sun Princess is really remarkable. It's tied to the Magic Castle there in Hollywood, California, and they really hold that experience very close to them. It's not like you can just go anywhere and have that experience. Right now, you can have that at the Magic Castle there in Hollywood, or you can have it on the Sun Princess, and when the Star Princess comes, you'll be able to enjoy that experience there as well. So in November of 2024, Princess did a Magic Castle cruise on the Sun Princess. Very well received. People that went on that cruise absolutely loved it. They released different packages with different things that would be included based on how much you wanted to pay, truly based on the experience that you wanted to have when you were on that cruise, and they are doing it again. So the next cruise is going to be on the Star Princess, like I said. It is going to sail on September 27th of 2026. It's going to leave from Vancouver and end up down in Los Angeles. And the ports that it's going to visit, let me tell you how it's going to work. So you're actually going to have an overnight there in Vancouver. So you board the ship one day, and that's really a wonderful way to see things, because then you can get off the ship, stay out as late as you want to, have a lovely dinner, go to a show, whatever it is, and then come back to the ship late, go out again if you want the next day before the ship leaves. So day 1 and 2 are considered from Vancouver there. Days 3 and 4 are sea days. Day 5 and 6 you get an overnight in San Francisco, which is absolutely wonderful. There is so much to see there in San Francisco, and then a day at sea, and the next day you get down to Los Angeles. So as part of that, they're going to have Magic Castle themed events, of course. The cruise is going to have performances by top magicians, tailored magic lectures. So not only will those top magicians be doing performances, but they'll be doing lectures, so you can up your magic game if you want to. They'll have a Victorian inspired bar experience and magic filled cocktail parties, dinners, and brunches. So like I said, that's going to be part of the packages that they will release when it gets closer to the time for that cruise to sail. They are also going to have, it says participants will have the opportunity to lift the veil on the Magic Castle with custom curated events and activities. And then finally, they just want you to know that you can book a cruise in the Sanctuary Collection on that as well, which you can on all of the Sun Princess and Star Princess sailings to do that Sanctuary Collection, which on the Sun Princess and the Star Princess, the only way you access the sanctuary on the ship that we are used to on the other princess ships, you have to book a cabin in the Sanctuary Collection. They have like 8 balcony cabins, and they have some mini suites, and then of course their beautiful suites as part of that. And with it, you get access to the sanctuary. If you book a suite, you get access to the suite lounge. You get to eat in the special dining rooms that are associated with that. It's a lovely experience. So if you want to go on that and you don't have a travel agent and you would like my help, I'm delighted to help you with that. Like I said, I've got the space that I took out on that. They are going to take it away though in January. January is when I lose part of that space, and so let me know, and I can extend it to April if we want to, but I'll just kind of see if anybody is wanting to do that. So I'm really excited about that. Someday I do want to do a Magic Castle cruise. I'm really not a magic person, but I loved the Spellbound experience when we were on the Sun Princess. I'm looking forward to doing it on the Star Princess. And a quick note, dining is not available to book for the Star Princess yet. If you have a cruise booked on the Star Princess and you're thinking something is wrong, nope, nothing is wrong yet. She's a brand new ship, and they, like with the Sun Princess, they released it closer to the time for the ship to sail. That inaugural that we'll be on is going to sail on October 4th, and so we're just keeping our eye out when they release the dining so that we can book the Spellbound for one evening. We're really excited about that. So if you've got questions about anything, anything to share, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let us know. Have you been on the Rotterdam lately? Are you thinking of doing the Queen Mary 2 for the 4th of July? Are you thinking of doing our Holland America group for the 4th of July cruise? There are just so many exciting things to talk about with cruising, and I think it makes all of our days a little bit lighter and a little bit brighter. So thanks for joining me. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.